Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. The first time skip that happened in One Piece took place over 2 years, and during that time, several very important events occurred, changes that allowed many characters to get strong. It also introduced a new technique to us, which we now know as Haki. There's been a ton of discussion in the community about this, and there is a good possibility that a time skip, another time skip, could happen during this final saga, and it could happen now on Luffy's journey in search of finding the great One Piece treasure, or perhaps even happen after he finds the treasure, showing us the older Straw Hats and how their lives went on after they achieved their dreams and goals. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the possibility of another time skip that could happen in this saga, what changes it could bring to the story, and when it might happen. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like and even subscribe and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, especially with that old YouTube algorithm, and it continues to motivate us to make more content. If you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, in this final saga of One Piece, we are having a ton of surprising events going on. We've had revelations that are being presented with more and more frequency, and new mysteries are emerging even faster. We know that we're poised for a great battle to happen, being the biggest confrontation ever seen within the story of One Piece, one that Oda has described as being even bigger than Marineford. The last great confrontation will be the one that will decide the fate of the world, who's going to remain at the top, and who will manage to obtain the treasure that has been so desired by so many in the world. With this great battle between amazing pirates and marines alike approaching, there might be the possibility of a time skip happening, allowing the Straw Hats to get stronger and prepare for the fights that are eventually going to happen. During the Wano arc, the Straw Hats all managed to obtain some new techniques and skills, but they still don't know how to use them to their full potential yet, and they're learning little by little how to really put them to good use. In this latest Egghead Island arc, we've also seen that they're receiving help from Vegapunk, and if they could help him get off the island, it's likely that Vegapunk will offer them resources and information to get even stronger through his own technologies. This means that if a time skip really were to occur, it would allow them to improve their skills, and they would be able to use them perfectly without having any great difficulty or drawback in using them. An excellent example of this is when Luffy first started using Gear 2nd. Whenever he used it, he got very worn out, and it even caused a shortening of his lifespan, and if he had maintained it much longer, he could have run out his whole life as long as he maintained that transformation. But after the time skip and after the Battle of Marineford, this technique apparently no longer has any disadvantage. And not only that, Luffy managed to perfect it and even created other transformations through Gear 2nd. So along with Haki, he created Gear 3rd, Gear 4th, and even other transformations within Gear 4th. With that potential time skip, Luffy could learn to use Gear 5th without getting so exhausted, Zoro could learn to use his Haki better and learn how to apply his Conqueror's Haki that he just learned he had. Nami could acquire new techniques with Zeus and even upgrade her climb attack. Frankie could advance his own cybernetic technology by working with Vegapunk. Nico Robin might be able to perfect her transformation into her demonic state, and Brook may get better control over the powers of his soul fruit. We also have to consider that Usopp would be able to build new slingshots and new technological ammunition. Jinbei could increase his strength and his control and mastery over Fishman-style karate. Sanji, of course, could acquire new techniques because now that he knows he has genetic modification, he could perfect that. And even Chopper might get some new transformations. There are many benefits of this potential time skip, allowing the Straw Hats to become much more powerful. And not just them, but other Marines and pirates that would also be able to become very strong during this time, as it happened during the first time skip, making all the characters evolve. There could also be certain events that could happen during this time skip, bringing several important revelations that would change the course of history and even cause some characters to change sides. During the first time skip, there were multiple events that occurred, such as Sakazuki fighting Kuzan, where the two admirals fought for the title of Fleet Admiral on Punk Hazard, causing half the island to turn into ice and the other to turn into magma. Of course, we know that Sakazuki was the winner of this confrontation and became the new admiral of the Marine Fleet, while Kuzan decided to leave the Navy because he could never accept the way that Sakazuki commanded. Kuzan then abandoned his post as admiral and became a drifter, at least until he found Teach, and then joined his crew for some yet unknown reason. But apparently Teach has something Kuzan was interested in. Also during the time skip, the Great Battle of Return took place, a confrontation between the remnants of the Whitebeard pirates and the Blackbeard pirates. And this battle happened 1 year after the confrontation in Marineford, while the Straw Hats were still doing their training in their respective islands and locations around the world. The Blackbeard pirates were ultimately victorious, and Marshal D. Teach became one of the 4 emperors after managing to defeat most of the pirates from Whitebeard's former crew. During this first time skip, we also saw new warlords entering the position that Jinbei, Marshal D. Teach, and Gecko Moria left after they deserted their positions during the battle at Marineford. So Buggy, Law, and Edward Weevil occupied the empty spaces, becoming the new warlords, gaining the privileges of being in the position. Although sometime later, the warlords were disbanded because of the actions that Crocodile and Doflamingo had made in Dressrosa and Alabasta. This was the result of the revelry and the kingdoms deciding to abolish the warlord system, and thus created the SSG, a group of scientists commanded by the great scientist Vegapunk, which we are currently following his true goals and ambitions right now on Egghead Island. Now, while these so-called earlier events are incredible, there are also smaller events that occurred in the world while the Straw Hats were busy training during those 2 years after the battle at Marineford. One of the main events that occurred was the Straw Hat pirates began their training for the new world, each being in a different location, training their skills so they could meet each other again in 2 years. Sabo regained his childhood memories of Ace and Luffy, which were memories he had lost during an accident in which a nobleman shot the boat that the young Sabo was on, causing him to lose his memories and also be rescued by Dragon, thus becoming a revolutionary. The Big Mom pirates took over protection of Fishman Island, which had previously been a location overseen by the Whitebeard pirates, causing many fishmen to serve Big Mom's will so that they would not be hunted by humans. Now, though many of them disliked serving Big Mom, for various reasons they still followed her orders, which was most notably Jinbei, who only obeyed the Empress's orders to keep his people safe and secure. Isho and Aramaki joined the Marines as admirals, taking the places left by Kuzan, who had left the Marines after losing in Punk Hazard, and Akainu, who had just been promoted to Fleet Admiral, leaving 2 admiral vacancies available. Upon being promoted, Isho and Aramaki obtained code names, with Isho now being called Fujitora, and Aramaki now being called Ryokugyu, becoming the new admirals working alongside Kizaru, who retained his position. Another incident that has been revealed but yet not detailed in the manga recently is the Rocky Port incident happened, and this involved Trafalgar Law and Kobe, who gained some new positions as warlord and a captain respectively. In this event, they fought against pirates who were causing some big problems, and came out victorious and fulfilled their objective. And in our humble opinion, one of the most important events that happened during the time skip was a few months before the Wano Country arc. Kozuki Momonosuke and 4 members of the 9 Red Scabbers arrived in Wano Country from 20 years in the past. With their arrival, Kikunojo began investigating their enemies, and the remainder of the group departed Wano in search of comrades, during which the time the Beast Pirates began chasing the fugitives. So as we can clearly see, there were multiple important events that happened during these 2 years that the Straw Hats were training to get stronger. So it's likely that in this next possible time skip, we're going to have some other major events happen around the world. Now, obviously, there would be battles and events directly involving the One Piece treasure. And with the end of the time skip, we would finally see the most powerful Straw Hats ready to face the strongest enemies. This could even play out a different way, where there's a flashback that would only happen at the end of the story, after the Straw Hats finally managed to all fulfill their dreams and find the One Piece, after of course defeating every enemy that stood in their way. In this flashback, we'd be able to see how life went for each one of them after having achieved their goals and dreams, managing to change the world completely, with each one following their own life, leaving only the memories of when they were pirates in the past. There's even the possibility that new descendants of the Straw Hats could emerge, forming a new crew of young people who would also have the same goals as their parents when they were young. And just like them, they would head out to sea in search of being able to make their own dreams come true, in search of something even bigger than the One Piece itself, a journey in which they would be able to find enemies and good friends all along the way, just as it was in their parents' journey. And of course, this is how that cycle goes, making the old generation a beacon of hope for the next generation of pirates to emerge in pursuit of their own goals and dreams, becoming even more powerful than the pirates who preceded them and laid out the path that they follow. So with all that said, my friends, we'd now love to know what you think about it. What do you think about the possibility of another time skip might be, and how would it play out? I mean, there's been tons of discussion in the community, and even talk about the Straw Hats going into space or a moon after leaving Egghead Island. So what do you think might happen? And if there was a time skip, would it be to set the stage for the final big battle? Or would it be more of a retrospective where we'd get to look back on all of the amazing things they did throughout their journey and how they then made their dreams come true? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video for the day, we would like to thank you all so much for watching the video, especially those of you who've made it here to the very end. Be sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.